All right, so standing up nice and tall when you're ready. We'll just try and get into the breath. Shoulders down the back. And then just standing nice and tall. All right, so if you can, just close the eyes as well. And just take a moment to check in with your breath. Just notice how it is currently. And just start to make the breath a little bit deeper. A little deeper with that inhale, a little longer with the exhale. And just allowing the shoulders to soften with the exhale. All right, keep the breath going and keep the eyes closed and just think about your posture a little bit more into your body. So if you can, think about reaching up through the crown of the head, almost like you're trying to just pull the head up, pulling up on a string, just lengthening the spine as well. Allow the shoulders to soften down the back. You might even feel them roll back and down. And then just lifting the chest a little as well. So maybe lifting those lower ribs slightly. Maybe feeling still that you can engage the core a little, so still strong on the front of the body. Maybe noticing those shoulders go down a little. Maybe chin is lifted. Maybe push the head back slightly as well, so you can just start to engage the front muscles a little bit more. Stretch out down the back of the neck. And just trying to stack and align the spine a little bit more. All right, let's focus in on the legs. So if you can, try to engage the glutes. So feel like you're squeezing your buttocks, squeeze the glutes. Maybe feel the outer hips squeeze together as well. Just notice how that changes your posture, your stance. Maybe fires up the legs as well. And now, so you can press the feet down into the ground, almost as if you're trying to straighten the legs, trying to stand a little bit taller. Notice how that feels in the legs, the knees. And then from there, keeping some of that engagement. You don't need everything really switched on. You can just have it sort of maybe halfway switched on for a few percent. And then just take a little lean forward. So just shifting the weight slightly into the toes and notice what happens to the rest of the body, the posture. Then just shifting back into the heels a little bit more. Maybe toes lift slightly. And again, notice if that feels a little bit better with your alignment. And again, just shifting forward slightly. And they only need to be very subtle movements. If you do too much, you've got the eyes closed, it can feel very unbalanced. And again, shift back. And then you're just going to keep moving in this, just very subtle movements forwards and backwards. And if you can, just try to find that middle ground, if you can, that feels better for your posture and for your stance, and where you feel like your spine is more stacked. And you might find that it's actually a little further back than you thought it or where you would naturally stand, or it might be a little further forward than where you naturally stand. And then just take a moment to feel all those muscles in the body, what's switched on. They might ache a little, they might be muscles that we don't use all the time. Just noticing that feeling, that length through the crown of the head. All right, we're going to try to keep coming back to this standing position, so trying to remember where you are, how it feels. And just having that a little more awareness of what's going on in the body. All right, excellent. Release, relax, have a little shake out. Feels a little bit weird to start with. All right, then we're going to dive in with our sun salutations. And again, we're just going to explore a little bit into the feet, see how that helps with our posture. All right, top of the mat when you're ready, we're going to dive in with our sun salutations. So feet just slightly apart to help. Again, that can help with our balance or stability. And then again, find that nice tall stance. So you might press the feet down into the ground, thighs are engaged, glutes are engaged as well. And then maybe that little lean back or that little lean forwards. So what you need, and reach up through the crown and head. All right, when you're ready, nice big inhale, reach the hands all the way up and over the top of the head. Try to maintain the rest of the posture, maybe looking up towards the hands or towards the ceiling. And then exhale, soften the knees and fold, take the hands to the floor. Keep the knees nice and soft and take that little lean forward into the toes, just getting that deeper stretch into the back of the legs. Pull the belly to the back of the spine and just lengthen through the crown of the head. Knees still bent, so you get that nice stretch out. Lovely, inhale, nice halfway lift. Just taking the hands onto the thighs. You can straighten the legs a little, keep that little bend in the knees, and then send the shoulders to the hips, so you lengthen the front of the chest. Good, exhale, plant the hands and step the feet back to that nice straight plank. Spread the fingers nice and wide and then push down into the hands to lift the upper back. Look forwards, shift forwards and then drop the knees. Send the chest down to the floor and then slowly come all the way down. Take the feet nice and wide, and maybe take the hands wide as well and come up for an upward facing dog. Your version, think about softening the shoulders and put the chest going forwards. Exhale, release, hands come back in, tuck the toes to tabletop position. Spread the fingers nice and wide and push into the upper back so you're really rounding through the back. Tuck the toes, lift the knees and send the hips straight up to the sky. Straighten the legs and then start to send the hips back. So get your downward facing dog. From here, take your feet nice and wide, maybe as wide as a mat. Soften into the knees and then send the hips further back. You can start to straighten the legs a little from here. But just check in, see how it feels on the back of the legs. You might feel a little tight into the hamstrings, back of the calves. Well done. From here, just going to bend one knee, and as you do, straighten the other leg and just start to lower that heel towards the floor. Maybe go for a straight leg on that side. Just check in, get that nice stretch out. Lovely. We're going to switch over, so bend that straight leg and then straighten the opposite leg. And again, maybe lower that heel to the ground. Just get that nice stretch out. Lovely. Send the hip back as well, so you work into the glutes. Lovely, well done. From here, look forward, step the feet towards the front and come into that nice halfway lift. You might take hands to the thighs or the shins, a little bend in the knees, lift the chest, look forwards and send the shoulders to the hips, engaging the lat muscles. Exhale, folding down, drop the head, release the hands, belly to the back of the spine. A little lean forwards into the toes so you get that deeper stretch down the legs. Lovely. When you're ready, push into the feet, coming all the way back up. Now roll up or stretcher. Taking those hands up as well, and then think about that posture, maybe shifting back into the heels slightly. Lovely. Exhale, all back to standing. All right, let's go again, a little bit quicker. Nice big inhale, press back into the heels a little. Reach up, lift up, and engage the glutes. Good. Exhale, reach towards the floor, drop your hand. Try to get slightly straighter legs here if you can. Try to engage the thighs so that we properly stretch the hamstrings. Engage the thighs, strengthen the thighs. Lovely. Lean forwards into the toes so you get that deeper stretch down the back of the legs. Belly to the back of the spine. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, look forwards. Lift the chest, lengthen down in front. Exhale, plant the hands, feet all the way back. Good. Shift forwards. And then lower down, use the knees, elbows in. Good, inhale, upward facing dog. Your version, just trying to open the chest, strengthen those legs, the glutes. And exhale, release, hands go in. Maybe that tabletop position first, maybe straight into down dog. Hopefully feeling that heat building in the body now. Using that nice steady breath, 5 breaths here. If you can, try to lengthen through the back. Keeping those arms lifted, shoulders lifted, pressing down into the hands. Once you've sent the hips back nice and far, think about stretching out through those legs and maybe straighten the legs. Heels go back, calves go back, and then pick up the front of the thighs. So if you can lift up there and send the thighs back as well. Lovely. 2, nice steady breath. 3, keep sending those heels back, calves back. Good. 4. And 5. Look forwards. Step the feet towards the front. Nice halfway lift. And lift the chest, lift the heart. Nice straight legs. Exhale, folding down. Drop the head. Press down into the feet. Belly to the back of the spine. Straight legs. When you're ready, keep pressing into the feet. Reach up, lift up, stretch up. Engage the glutes. Shift back into the heels and pick up to the sky. And exhale all the way back to standing. Let's go again. One more. Nice big inhale. Reach up, lift up, stretch up. Good. Exhale, fall towards the floor. Drop the head. A little lean forward. Stretch the back of the legs. Straighten the legs. Engage those thighs. Inhale. Keep the legs straight. Halfway lift. Exhale. Hands down. Feet all the way back. Good. Shift forwards and down. Inhale, upward facing dog, your version. Try to get those shoulder blades to come towards each other. And exhale, release, tuck the toes, down to the floor. Well done, feet nice and wide. And again, find that length into the back first, so you lift the hips up and back. Press down into the hands, straighten the arms. Send the shoulders away from each other, so you broaden across the upper back. From here, start to straighten those legs. Pull the belly to the back of the spine, find a little more space in the front of the body. Lovely, heels go back, calves go back. And pick up through the kneecaps. Feel those thighs engage and keep hold of that engagement if you can. From the back of the legs back. Lovely, hold it here. Good, 1, nice deep breaths. 2, 3, 4, this one, and 5. Lovely, look forward, step or jump. Exhale for the one. Exhale, folding down, a little lean forwards into the toes, strong legs. And when you're ready, press into the feet, reach up, lift up, engage those glutes, slightly lean back, and exhale all the way back to stop. Lovely. All right, we're going to go a little bit further, get these legs stretching out. So take your feet hip width apart, and then from there you're going to soften into the knees. Start to lower down towards the floor and drop the head. I'm going to try to do about 10 breaths in this one. So you can slow the breath down with it if it's sped up a little. We'll try and focus on getting these legs really straight. Another little trick you can do is if you've got a wall behind you, you get your heels against the wall and get your sit bones against the wall, and then you can try to fold from there. And it will just allow you to keep the legs nice and level, basically, or aligned. But if you can always bend the knees a little bit then, take the hands down. And then when you're ready, really engage and straighten those legs. So pick up through the kneecaps, engage the thighs. You might be able to see your knees as well, and then see that they are lifted. And that little lean forwards into the toes. So you have to use the toes a little bit more, just like we would if we had our hands on the ground. We'd use our fingers to help with our balance. And just feel that stretch out. Pull the belly to the back of the spine, so you start to stretch out the back as well. And then relax the shoulders, relax the head, the neck. And you can either just leave the hands towards the floor or grab hold either elbow. Don't feel like they have to be touching the floor. Lovely. Keep those thighs lifted. Keep looking at the knees to help you. Lovely. We're going to do 5 more breaths here. So sometimes once you get used to doing this one, you can actually hold it here for about a minute and build up to maybe 2 minutes. It's quite a tough one to do for that long, and you have to be careful when you come back up because you'll have had a lot of blood rush to the head. So come up slowly if you do up to 2 minutes. We're just trying to do 10 breaths. 3 more. Keep that engagement. It's got a long time to hold that engagement. So you might feel a little shaking in the legs. It's just where the thighs switching on and off. Lovely. 1 more breath. Good work, well done. Just soften into the knees. You might look forward slightly. Take a breath here. Maybe looking forwards. And when you're ready, you can go all the way back up to standing. Well done. All right, a little bit of a tough one. We're actually going to try a little balancing exercise. This one's quite a tough one again, but really helpful for strengthening out through the legs. So we're going to try and use our posture to help us as well. So you're going to shift the weight into your left foot. So you can always go to hip width apart to start with. Shift the weight into your left foot. And really fire at the left leg so it's really strong and really straight. Lift up through the crown of the head, and if you get a little bit taller, your right foot will just hover off the ground. And you're just going to hold it out to the side slightly. It doesn't need to go really wide or anything like that. You just want to hover it. Well done. You can do hands to the waist, or you can do hands out if you need a little bit more with the balance. Do what you need. Well done. Hold it here for 5, 4. Keep focusing in on that standing left leg being really strong. 3, 2, and then when you're ready, take your right foot slightly forwards. So we're just shifting the pelvis a little. And again, focusing on that left leg standing nice and strong, nice and tall. Hold it here for another 5, 4, 3, checking with that left foot as well, 2, And one, slowly take your right foot back and you're just going to hover it slightly behind you. And if you're nice and tall, you can flex this right foot and it should just hover slightly. Lovely. Hold it there for 5, 4, 3. Keep pushing that left foot down. 2, and 1. Lovely. Well done. Exhale, release, relax. Give the oblique strength as well. All right, let's go other side. So feet are hip width apart. Shift the weight into the right foot. And then nice and slowly just hover the left foot by getting a little bit taller through the crown of the head. Lovely. Hold it there. It feels wobbly on this side. Holding it there for 5. You might engage the glutes as well to help. 4. Good. 3. Nice straight right leg. Try to get rid of any bend in the knee. 2. And 1. Take it forward slightly, just a couple of inches. Doesn't need to be much. Lovely. Check in that the pelvis moves slightly. Well done. Hold it there. 5. Shoulders down. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Going back slightly now. So keep tall. Tall through that right side. Lifting up through the crown of the head. Hold that leg back slightly for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Bring it forwards and shake it out. Lovely. Well done. All right, we're going to try to use that strength now. We'll try to go a little bit further. So take the feet out nice and wide. You might go lengthways on your mat. And then when you're ready, you're going to turn your right foot towards the back of the mat. All right, from here, reach your right hand forwards and then coming down towards your right shin. And then see if you can open the chest, open the pelvis, and maybe take that left hand up to the sky. Think about opening across the chest. You can always just take left hand onto the hip if you prefer and work the shoulder back. Think about those legs being nice and strong, nice and straight. Lovely. Push down into the outer back heel, so left heel presses down. Feel that stretch a little bit more. Tuck under with the tailbone as you do. So left glute is fired up. Now think about your right toe, and you can even look down towards your right foot to help you with this if you want to. So you might want to drop your top arm down a little. Think about pressing down into the right big toe. So as you do, you get a little bit of an inner press down. So you feel like your lower part of the leg below the knee is trying to roll in slightly and down. And now think about trying to pull your right hip back slightly. So you'll get this counter turn basically. So you'll get the external rotation into your right thigh. And really see if you can switch on. So pull up through the kneecap and hold it there. Well done. 2 more breaths in this position. It's quite a tricky one to do. You might spread the toes to help you. Lovely. 1 more breath. Good. Well done. Nice and slowly push into the front knee. And all the way back up. Woof. All right, let's switch over. Left side. So left foot forwards. Heels are on that straight line. And then when you're ready, coming forwards and down towards the left side. So getting into your usual triangle position. Think about tucking under with the tailbone. Opening the chest, maybe sending that top arm up. See how that feels to start with. Again, that deeper stretch on the outside edge of the right side of the back. Lovely. All right, let's fire up the legs now. So you're going to press the right heel down into the ground, fire up the right glutes. Lovely, get that deeper stretch. Right side. All right, nice and slowly looking down at the front foot, just to help. And then press down into your left big toe, so get this internal rotation, lower part of the leg. And then now see if you can pull your left hip back, so you get this external rotation slightly. Check in, make sure that thigh is strong. Check your knee is okay. Hold it there. Lovely. 3 more. Good. 3, 4, and 5. Lovely. Push into the knee, coming all the way back up. Lovely, well done. Pivot that left foot in. We'll go for a nice forward fold from here. So we're going to turn the hip toes out, heels in, and then you're going to bend the knees so you get into a bit of a squat position first. Well done. Then start to take the hands down towards the floor so you've still got those bent knees. Then pivot your heels out and start to straighten the legs. Well done. So sometimes you can go down with straight legs, but sometimes you can feel a little clunky in the knees as you do. So sometimes it's better to get the hands towards the floor or the fingertips and then start to straighten the legs. All right, I'm going to try and properly stretch out those hamstrings. So have a little look at the knees and see if you can lift up through the kneecaps, engage the thighs. You might find one side's a little easier than the other. Try to keep hold of it. And now just shift the weight into the toes a little. So now use all of the toes. Well done. Pressing down into the outside edges of the feet. Lift up, pick up the thighs. Good. Drop the head a little bit more if you want to. The main thing is to focus in on those legs. Lovely. If you can, you're going to try to pick up the toes. So you might find you lean back slightly as you do this. Just a little, picking up the toes. So that's going to help you engage the inner arches of the feet. You might get a little lift of the inner thighs as well. All right, one more breath here. So we've got feet engaged. We've got that, getting that stretch into the back of the legs. Little lean forwards, just enough to keep those toes lifted. And thighs nice and strong. All right, last little bit of engagement. This one's a little bit harder to do. You can imagine your outer hips squeezing towards each other. Back might round as you do. Core engages. Well done. This will switch on your inner thighs and it will switch on your pelvic floor as well. Squeeze those outer hips towards each other. Keep the rest of the engagement and 3 more breaths here. Well done. 3. Good. 4. Keep squeezing those outer hips towards each other. And 5. Lovely, well done. Look forward, soften into the knees. And then nice and slowly coming back up. Take your time. I'm doing a lot longer with 5 breaths, so take your time coming up. All right, from here, pivot those heels back in so your knees are facing out, and then you can go into a bit of a squat position. All right, I'm going to fire up those legs a little bit more. You're going to press down into the feet and at the same time pick up the toes. Start to press those inner heels forwards and sink a little bit lower. Lovely. See if you can stack your shoulders back. So you're trying to lean back with your shoulders, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Hold it there. Well done. Press the feet into the ground and see if you can pick up just the toes so you've got the arches of the feet engaged. Lovely. Go a little bit lower with the exhale. Nice. Well done. Hold it here for 5. 4. Going a little bit lower maybe. 3. Feel that burn. 2. Keep pressing into those feet. Feel that resistance. Last one. And 1. Lovely. Exhale, release, coming all the way back up. Lovely. Take a nice stretch out, shake out, and come back to standing. Woo! All right, we're going to try and go a little bit further with the leg stretch. So you're going to take from the middle of your mat, take a nice step forward with your right foot. And then when you look down at the feet, you've actually got a nice diagonal line with your heels. So you know that you're in the right position. Feet are a little bit further away from each other, so you're sort of hip width apart. And now pull your right hip back, so you're starting to square the hips. Checking in with the back foot to start with. Press your outer back heel down. Notice how that feels into the back of the leg. Might be more down the outside edge of the foot. See how that feels. You might find you can pick up the back toes as well, so you focus on that outer left heel. Well done. Nice deep breath. Hopefully you can feel the thigh engage at the same time. All right, so we're going to start to come forward. You might have to soften that engagement into the back leg, but we'll find it again. And then just start to slowly come over your right thigh. Take hands down or even hands onto the shin, or you might be able to take fingertips to the floor, but just go as far as you can. So a fairly short stance, so it will be harder to go all the way down to the floor. Do what you can. And then pick up through the kneecap on that right thigh. So engage the right thigh. That's going to help us to properly stretch the back of the leg, the hamstring. Well done. And now send your right hip back as well. Lovely. Now press down into the outer left heel. Back toes might lift a little. Good. Right hip still pulling back. Check in with it. All right. Next bit of engagement, you're going to try to press your right big toe into the ground and pick up the other toes. So you should find you get more of an inner stretch. So your big toe presses down on the right foot. Little toes lift up maybe. Lovely. Check in, engage the thigh again. And then fold closer towards your leg to feel that stretch more. And then we're going to hold this one here for 5. Try to maintain that engagement. Lovely. 1. Nice deep breath. 2. Maybe still pulling that right hip back. Good. 3, pick up the front thigh, make sure it's nice and strong, maybe the back thigh as well. 4, pressing down into that right big toe, little toes lifted. And 5, lovely, push into the front knee, release, and come all the way back up. Woo, it's a good stretch. All right, let's switch over other side, left leg. So left foot steps forwards, got that diagonal line between the heels, and then we'll have a little go on this one. We're going to focus in on the back foot to start, so press your right outer heel down. Just feel the inner thigh lift up slightly, engage this right thigh, so pick up through the kneecap. Hold that there, maybe toes are lifted as well, because you're pressing back into the back heel. Hold that there, take a breath. Notice how it feels, right glute might be engaged as well. All right, let's go a little further. So release the back leg slightly to allow you to fold down. As you start to fold, pull your left hip back. Lovely, maybe drop the hands onto the shin, the ankle, or towards the floor. All right, let's fire up the front leg now. So press down into the big toe on that left foot. As you do, pull your left hip back. Lovely, so you're engaging the inner foot, inner calf, maybe a little higher into the inner thigh. And then pick up through the kneecaps, so engage both thighs if you can. Lovely, little toes might be lifted on that left side. And then press down into the outer back right heel. Lovely, feel that stretch. Maybe go a little lower into your fold to feel it more. Well done, try to maintain that engagement, there's lots going on. 5 breaths. Good, 1, think about engaging those thighs. 2, pressing down into that outer right heel. 3, left big toe, pressing down. 4. And 5. Lovely, well done. Push into the front knee and all the way back up. And have a little stretch. Woo. Lovely, well done. All right, we're going to try to get stretched out through the front thigh as well. So we'll try a little sort of runner's stretch. If you can just hold onto the wall. You don't need to necessarily have the balance with it, but it's up to you. Shift the weight into the left foot, and then you're going to bend your right knee and just grab hold of the foot. If you're nice and relaxed, it should feel fairly easy to do. I'm going to try to make it a little bit harder. So we're going to start to try to tuck under with the tailbone. As you tuck under with the tailbone, you might correct your posture slightly. The core starts to engage as well, but you start to feel that stretch down the front of the thigh. Keep tucking it under, and then to go further, you're going to pull your foot in closer. So heel pulls in closer towards your glute. And then so you can hold that there. Again, don't need to worry about the balance, just focusing on that stretch. Maybe flex or spread your toes on the right foot as well. Well done. And then see if you can engage the glutes. Squeeze the outer hips towards each other as well. Well done. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Nice and slowly exhale, release. So switch over to the other side. So again, hold on to something. Shift the weight into the right foot, and then when you're ready, grab and hold your left foot. Lovely, knee might be quite far forwards, but when you're ready, you're going to start to tuck under with the tailbone, create that resistance, find that stretch, pull the heel in. Lovely, nice deep breaths, pressing down into the right foot. Keep the chest lifted, keep that core engaged, keep that tuck under with the tailbone. Lovely, pull the heel in to go a little bit further. Notice where your stretch is. Good, maybe squeeze the outer hips towards each other. A little more engagement. Lovely, hold it there. Good, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent, well done. Nice and slowly release. And should feel that. Lovely. All right, we're going to work our way down towards the floor now. Try and get some forward folds, leg stretches in there as well. So top of the mat when you're ready, feet slightly apart, shift the weight back into the heels, engage the glutes. Nice big inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky, reach, lift up. Exhale, fold towards the floor. You might soften the knees to fold, and then once you get the hands towards the floor, the head down, start to straighten the legs, lean into those toes. Good, engage the thighs, nice fold. Lovely, inhale, halfway lift. Try to keep those legs straight, strong, thighs engaged, send the shoulders to the hips, chest forward. Exhale, plant the hands, feet back. Good, shift forwards and down. Lovely, inhale, upward facing dog, your version, strong glutes. And exhale, tuck the toes, down facing dog. Lovely, get that nice stretch out in your down dog. Take a breath here. And then nice and slowly, do this seated when you're ready. All right. Good. We're going to try to work on these legs a little bit more. So sitting up nice and tall. And sometimes you can actually lean against the wall, so you can actually sit with your back against the wall. And then you know that you're fairly straight then with your back. You can push your upper back into the wall. You might find that you've arched in the back, so you can actually pull your belly to the back and try to get the mid back towards the wall as well. And then you're sort of the back, the glutes or the buttocks are sort of fairly close to the wall as well. But if not, you can just sit up tall, that's fine. And then when you're ready, you're going to fire up your thighs and you press your heels into the ground. So heels press into the ground. If you are using a wall behind your back, you'll feel some resistance in your back as well. This is where your back wants to lean backwards because we're firing up the legs. So press down into the heels. Press the calves into the floor as well, and it should feel like you're trying to broaden and spread the back of the calves so they go nice and wide, nice and flat. Check in that your kneecaps are pulled up so you've got those thighs engaged as well. It's going to help us to properly stretch the hamstrings. Well done. You might point through the toes as well, point through the foot, and then check in if your toes are level. So depending on how we walk or run, you might find that you maybe are slightly to the outside edge of the feet, and in which case you're going to try to pull your little toes back towards your hips, and it should stretch the inner legs a little bit more. Or you might find that actually you run more or walk more on the inside of the feet, and then in which case you're going to try to pull your big toes back a little. But if you check in and see, you want all of your toes nice and level basically. So your little toes are in line with your big toes. And then that will determine where you feel that stretch. So some people need the stretch more on the outside, and some people need it more on the inside. Well done. And at the same time, we're building that strength, the opposite side, whether it's the inner thighs or the outer thighs that we need a little bit more, and that should help to take pressure off the knees. All right, so you can hold it there for another 5. It's quite a hard one to do, but heels press down, calves press down, thighs engage, point through the toes and get those toes nice and level. So for me, I know I need to pull my little toes towards the hips and feel that a lot more down the inside of the legs. Hold that there for 5, 4, keep breathing through it, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Exhale, release, relax, and a little shake out. Lovely. From here, we're going to go for a bit more of a fold. So you might flex your feet a little, but keep the heels on the ground. So if anything, you actually want your toes further in front of your heels. And then leaning forward. So you might grab hold of your ankles, you might grab your calves or shins, or you might even grab the toes or even go towards the feet. Again, wherever you go to, just check in that your toes are level. So think about if you need to pull your little toes back towards you a little bit more. And again, engage those thighs. So this is going to help us to stretch the hamstrings. It's also going to allow us to stretch the back as well. Soften into the shoulders, maybe bring the chest forwards. And then just relax the head and the neck a little. And then hold it here. Lovely. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Nice and slowly, clean up, take your time, and then release the hands and just a little shake back the legs. All right, I'm just going to show you one more little trick that you can have a little go at afterwards when you find a mirror. But something that sometimes happens with the feet that impacts the knees is if you have a little look, if you stand with your feet so that your feet are hip width apart, and the way to check this is if you actually bring your heel, so it goes to the inside of your opposite foot, pick up the toes and then pivot back onto your foot, so that's your hip width apart. And keep the feet parallel, and then just with a mirror, or you can maybe film yourself, you're just going to see what happens to your knees. So in your usual posture, so for me, my knees will roll inwards, so I need to be more conscious of that. So to help, so if your knees are rolling in, you're going to turn your toes out. So you're going to actually turn your toes out, and your glutes will engage a little bit more. Posture might feel a bit stronger, but my knees are now actually facing forwards, thighs are rolling out. So that's going to help a lot. Likewise, if it's the other way and actually your knees are rolling out more, you can compensate that by turning your toes in slightly, and then your thighs will roll in a little bit, but you'll still get those knees facing forwards. So it's just kind of a little check that you can do to see what's happening. But if your natural or sort of your default position, which just happens over time, and you might not notice it when you're younger, but it can be something that we develop from really early on in our childhood, and we never really correct it. But all sorts of things can kind of change it. But just check in, and then you can be a little bit more aware of it. And it can just be that if you do need to have those toes turned out, you can almost get used to standing like this, so you just start to feel that. Or if it's the other way, you have the toes turned in. And then the other thing you can do is actually, if you do run or you walk, actually film, like get your phone out, film your feet and just go for a walk, go for a run and see what happens. And if your toes are going in slightly, it's probably you've got this internal rotation of the thighs. So you can practice with the walking, but just maybe if it's your warm up before you run, maybe just do a minute or 2 minutes and build it up a little and just get used to actually. And it's not that we're trying to turn the feet out, because we want that whole external rotation. So we're trying to get the knees to go out as well. And it will feel a little bit tough to start, but you can just start getting used to it. I know when I go for a run, I have one foot goes out a lot easier, but the other one is a lot harder to do. So it's like I'm conscious of that one side, but it just helps then, and it's that impact on the knees. And it's the same like if you're walking or hiking, and it's as you get tired towards the end that your body just wants to go back to its default. So I'll go back to knees in, or go back to knees out, whichever one it is. So it's just something to be aware of, but it can massively help with your running and walking in general. All right, that's one to practice. So you can have a little look in the mirror and afterwards, or film yourself. All right, we're going to finish off. We're just going to try and do our bridge pose, which will help with our feet. So if you come back onto the ground, have your feet hip width apart or even a little bit wider, and let the head and shoulders press down. This one's a really nice one to get those feet really fired up. So you're going to get the whole of the feet to press down into the ground, and notice how your back pushes into the ground and maybe your legs fire up a little bit. And now just pick up the toes. So as you pick up the toes, the arches of the feet are going to engage, which is really good for building that strength. So especially if you've got dropped arches, that's another reason why our knees might roll in, because the arches are dropped. But it's also a symptom from not using our outside edges of our feet properly. And then the knees are just rolling more, and the inner arches will drop more. So we're going to try and fire up those arches. And then start to lift the hips up a little, and it only needs to be a couple of inches or so, just so you start to get into that little bit of a bridge posture. And now press into the feet even more. All right, from there, press your inner heels in a little bit more, and that might help you fire up the inner thighs. Lovely. So we've got the toes lifted, we've got inner side of the feet pressing down a little bit more. We've got the arches of the feet engaged, pulling up, and then maybe feeling the glutes engage a little as well. I'm going to add one extra layer of engagement, and that's going to be to squeeze your outer hips towards each other. So engaging those glutes. I'm going to hold this one here for 5, 4, 3. Notice where the feet are working. You want the inner ones a little bit more. 2, And one, lovely. Exhale, release down. Take a breath here. All right, we're pretty much ready for our Shavasana. And we're doing quite a lot with our legs or feet, but we've got a good back stretch as well. Got some hip openers in there. And work that upper body a little. All right, so just taking your feet nice and wide. Have that little tuck under with the tailbone as well. You want the lower back or mid back fairly close to the ground. Have the palms facing upwards. Maybe tuck the chin slightly. And then just to help relax the body and calm the nervous system, just take a nice big deep breath in. Big sigh out. Nice big deep breath in. Big sigh out. Very nice big deep breath in. And big sigh out. And just start to allow the breath to return to a more natural rhythm. Just allowing the body to soften, relax, feel heavy. Heart rate will start to slow down. That will help to relax the body. And allow the body to feel a little heavier. And we're just going to stay here, enjoy this relaxation. So absorb in all that hard work, that energy, allowing ourselves to be still and present in the body. And you might allow the feet to relax. Allow your ankles and shins or calves to soften, relax. Allow your knees, your thighs to feel heavy. You notice the contact of your hamstrings with the earth. Allow the pelvis to feel open, hips to feel heavy. And allow them to sink deeper and deeper into the earth. And your lower back to relax. And your belly to relax. Allowing your mid back and upper back to soften, relax. Allow the shoulders, the neck and head to feel heavier and heavier. And to sink into the earth. And your face to relax. Softening your jawbone, your cheeks, even the forehead. Allowing your chin to relax. Allowing the eyes to roll up and down. As you let go of the breath, let go of the body, and let go of the mind. Nice and slowly, just start to bring the little arms back to the body. That's important. You're taking a deep breath in, exhale. And maybe just enjoying the stretch out, enjoying your knees pulling in, just getting a little stretch of the lower back and mid back, just whatever stretch your body needs. And nice and slowly, you can move to one side, and eventually just taking the time to come back up to center. Once you work up to seated, you might just soften the shoulders, maybe even keep the eyes closed. And you take the hands to the center. To look 11. We're just going to bow our heads. Namaste.